So following on from part 1, when it comes to the important clinical features of hyperbilirubinemia or jaundice, when you have this hemoglobin, and by the way, I shouldn't be using hyperbilirubinemia and jaundice interchangeably, because you remember that hyperbilirubinemia was more than 1.6, jaundice was more than 2.5. So there is that window period where a patient who has hyperbilirubinemia will not have jaundice, okay? So a quick review: hemoglobin is broken down into heme and protoporphyrin. Bilirubin is then produced. Bilirubin gets taken to the liver with as unconjugated bilirubin with albumin in the car. It gets conjugated and gets excreted via the bile canaliculi, stored in the gallbladder, and then it gets transferred to the intestines. In the intestines, you have the intestinal flora. If there's a problem before the liver or something inside the liver, before the liver, it's a prehepatic jaundice. It's prehepatic. These include features like hemolysis, as well as hemolysis. Crigler-Najjar and Gilbert would be intrahepatic jaundice, because that then affects the UDP-glucuronosyl transferase. Now, the main issue here is that if there's an obstruction before the liver, this will cause hyperbilirubinemia of the unconjugated type. After the liver, it's conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. When it goes to the intestine, it produces urobilinogen with the help of the normal bacteria present there. That urobilinogen gets converted into urobilin and stercobilin. Urobilin is the excretory form in the urine, stercobilin in the feces. Stercobilin is what it gives the stool the characteristic brown color. Now, if for some reason there is an obstruction after the liver, but before it gets to the intestines, such as Dubin-Johnson and Rota syndrome, which is issues with the bile canaliculi, it's an excretory defect, Dubin-Johnson syndrome and Rota syndrome. This is typically due to deficiency in canalicular transport proteins, but all you need to know is that the bilirubin is not getting to the intestines, it's being stopped, okay, because it's not even being excreted properly from the liver. And that would then result in, rather than stercobilin and urobilin is not formed, stercobilin is not formed. That means that you're not going to get your brown color of the stool, you're going to get pale stool, okay? It's not even going to the intestines. Yep, so no brown color, pale stool. One more thing. Urobilin gives the urine the characteristic yellow color. If it's not getting to the urobilin stage, the urine can have a dark color, and that might be because of the unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. As I explained in the last video, that is actually because of the conjugated. It's never due to unconjugated. Let me just clarify something. When the urine changes color and it goes dark, it's never due to unconjugated bilirubinemia, because unconjugated bilirubin is water insoluble. It's not even going to present in the water of the urine. So it's always due to conjugated hyperbilirubinemia in that instance. I hope that makes sense. I hope you've learned something, and this concept of Crigler-Najjar and Dubin-Johnson syndrome and kernicterus just makes sense to you. Thanks.